Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I realize that this is a rough road, but a catalyst for change in a society is usually persona non grata for those who have been beneficiaries of the system. A catalyst for change has to be able to withstand the insults, the humiliations, the abuses, and the slurs. What's wrong with my running for president of this country? After all, for 15 years, I have been the ghostwriter for a lot of them.
Do you think America is ready for a president that is both black and a woman?
America hasn't been ready for a lot of things. America wasn't ready for the tremendous civil rights movement that resulted in the Voting Rights Act that gave the black people of this country a great deal of freedom in terms of what had been denied to them. America wasn't ready for a Catholic president, they say. We will not know whether America is ready for me or not until the people of this country go to the polls and make that decision. This is a challenge. But I think what is even more important than whether or not America is ready for me as a president is to begin to prepare America for the fact that it is time that other peoples in America besides white males run for the highest office in this land. It's a preparation for the atmosphere to bring about the realization that someday blacks will lead this country, that someday women will lead this country. That's what this is all about.
Welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known, another Black History moment. I didn't realize that Shirley Chisholm carried 152 delegates into the convention. Boy, they had to have been shaken in their boots in 1972. Wow, that is interesting. 152 delegates. What do you need? Like three something to win the nomination? So she was halfway there. Wow, it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, we're gonna talk about some other amazing stuff today. Well, amazing in a different way. A judge is saying that Fani Willis, the district attorney in Georgia, who is overseeing the Trump case there, uh, she could actually be removed. We're gonna talk about that this morning. They are coming. House Republicans also this stuff is so this stuff after a while, it's like, ho hum, we know what's going to happen. We know whether she's removed or not. The trial, we already talked about the trial may never happen anyway. But anyway, we're going to talk about that. And House Republicans who lead the charge against diversity and inclusion, well, they they are openly, ironically, trying to recruit minority candidates. Also, Generation Z. Generation Z is a different generation. Y'all know that, right? Y'all are different. So the trend now, the what's hot now is posting videos of themselves getting fired. First of all, um, why would you do that? But we'll talk about that. And a snowstorm is about to slam, or is supposed to slam, the East Coast, the Northeast in particular, Philadelphia, New York. New York is bracing. Yesterday they closed school. They announced the closure of schools for today, which is, if you grew up in or near New York, you just know how weird that is because, you used to hear those sayings. Oh, we used to go to school 8 foot of snow. This and that. We did in New York, New York City. We trekked through the snow and everything else. And now, Mayor Adams, the day before, they've never gone on a prediction. They've closed schools, but it's not just New York, it's Philadelphia, expecting to be slammed as well. As I got to head to the White House. The White House is hosting a very interesting Black History Month. It's the descendants of people like Frederick Douglass and others are going to be there, and they're hosting that. We're headed there today. Hopefully, the weather will allow my Acela train to arrive on time. So we'll see. We will see. If not, I'll have a conversation with Mr. Quinn Durrett. He's got to straighten things out for me. Otherwise, we got problems. So, people still talking about the Super Bowl, particularly the halftime performance. Jermaine Dupri. I keep hearing stuff about
motions to quash today are arguing that.
Jermaine Dupri, and Jermaine Dupri's response was like, he came into the game. I guess he was referring to, he is referring to back in the day. Remember Chris Cross, they wore everything backwards. He said we came into the game wearing things backwards. So he don't know why everybody going in on him. And then he happened to show that his socks or whatever they were Louis Vuitton. It's like these little booties with a purse on them. And people was like, I guess you just don't get the point. Most people, I knew it. I mean, everybody I hear from and everybody I see post and stuff like that initially thought he was CeeLo Green. And then people were posting like, okay, a short man wearing a very short outfit. and that wasn't even the worst of it. But it's people go out, especially the celebrities. They go to the Super Bowl, then they hang out, go to the all-night parties, and do whatever. But Usher, after the Super Bowl, took his girlfriend to the chapel with his mom and got married. Usher is now this is his third marriage, I believe. But Usher got married to his girlfriend Jennifer. Don't ask me to pronounce her last name. But congratulations to the halftime performer, Usher. He got married, and hopefully this is really the one for Usher after a couple of situations he's been in. And so y'all who be getting on Usher, Swiss Beats had the great comeback line for folks. It was like, if Swiss Beats was there in the field, seeing how he was dancing with it, if Swiss Beats was like, give it a rest, y'all. It's a performance. But y'all can stop worried. Maybe if Usher was married last year, Keke Palmer's ex would not have lost his mind so much. But he was a ticking time bomb anyway, right? So that it didn't take much But Usher is a married man. And he brought his mom. His mom was the only witness to the wedding. And he's a mama's boy, I guess. He's a mama's boy. Nothing wrong with that, right? And Power 96 reminds us that it figures, Power 96, he did dress like Criss Cross, but he says he's not wearing those Shirley Temple looking socks. Why not? Come on now. You got to support Jermaine. You got to support the team. Oh, man. Oh, man. He also mentions that it's Mardi Gras morning. The North Side Skull and Bone Gang is what Power 96 post. He says, stop the gentrification in your neighborhood is his theme. Don't sell your land or home. Well, yeah, it is Mardi Gras time. But congratulations to Usher. That was the point of all of that, right? Usher, as they say, jump the broom. Good for Usher. So here's a frustrating thing that like we keep talking about, and because it's news, that's why we talk about it. It's not, Donald Trump continues to dominate the headlines. But in this case, his prosecutor down in Georgia, Fani Willis, in a bit of a hot water there. The judge overseeing the election case there, the election interference case in Georgia, says that a hearing on misconduct allegations leveled against the district attorney and prosecutor Nathan Wade must occur. Judge Scott McAfee made the remarks at the start of a hearing yesterday to determine whether the district attorney Willis and Wade and others will have to testify this coming Thursday during a hearing. The judge is scheduled to hear arguments on the matter. Willis and Wade has sought to have the Thursday hearing canceled, but the judge said otherwise. They, along with a number of employees in the DA's office, have been subpoenaed to testify by Trump co-defendant Michael Roman, who last month filed a motion seeking to dismiss the election charges against him and disqualify DA Willis on the grounds that she allegedly engaged in a personal romantic relationship with Wade, one of her top prosecutors. So we know that they either have had or have a relationship. We know that. The thing is, and we probably like wasting our energy on this, right? Because the thing is, how is that giving her an advantage in how is that giving the prosecutors an advantage? Because she's in a relationship with this guy. Now they're trying to say that she's benefited from it financially, and apparently, according to Willis and Wade, they have produced receipts from their vacations and stuff where they pay 50-50, which is another thing. First and foremost, if your man is taking you on a vacation, or if your other half, they could get those, but you're, in this case, is man and woman, right? If your man is taking you on a vacation, he's got to foot the bill, right? I mean, I've been married all these years. I still foot the bill for the vacation. Tell me something different. Let me just tell Shanae she got to start footing the bill then, right? And David says it does not matter with respect to whether defendants are guilty of crimes. But yeah, the underlying problem here, and it has nothing to do with the case, but the underlying problem, the big elephant in the room, is she hired her boyfriend. Bad look, bad. She was very foolish, yes. Foolish. And Angela Connolly also, and this is the problem too. This is how it all came out and got exposed, is as Angela Connolly says that he has a bitter ex-wife. Well, I'm not sure. I don't know all the facts surrounding their relationship, Angela, but in fact, they've been going through divorce hearings and stuff like that. In other words, this relationship has been going on while he's still married. So I dare say that at least 99% of women in marriages, if their husband has got a girlfriend, they're not gonna they're gonna be a little bitter or angry or something. Um, his wife is an OP. What is an OP? Tell me. Tell me what an OP. I know what an OG is. Um, OP. Op. Oh, I don't know. But anyway, um, you got to spell things. I still don't know. But anyway, yes, David says it's a bad look, unethical, dumb look, irrelevant. Do you know who his ex-wife? She is white, is what answered. And then Power 96 alleges that his ex-wife was his soon-to-be ex-wife was, quote, humping around like she was Bobby Brown. Y'all came with all the receipts this morning, didn't y'all? Of course, Power 96 says, tell the red bone I would take her on a trip all on me. Just don't tell anybody. See, that's everything wrong with that, Power 96. We're not telling her. But nonetheless, this is where they're at. There's been a push to get rid of her anyway. And she's had the governor back her, or at least to the point where he says he's not getting involved in that. But that could all change. That could all change. It was just, she had to know. This is the thing, we said this before. She had to know that they were going to go through her life like with a fine-tooth comb once she decided to prosecute. And it took, like everybody else, took all these years to bring these cases. What, 3 years essentially to bring these cases. I know they are complex cases and you don't want to rush. But see, that's why they're in the pickle that they're in now, with the fact that this man, Donald Trump, the 4 times indicted, twice impeached former president, is more likely than not that he will not be prosecuted. It's more likely that he won't be prosecuted. And she had to know, and when preparing this case, she had to know that they were going to be digging. And she also knew, by her own admission, he was married and that they were splitting up. It is arrogance. And so when there is a divorce going on, stuff can come out, especially when there's arguments over settlement. And there's been a long argument over settlement in this case. So and I think you're right. I think Grizz right. That's the only thing you can deduce from it all on the part of Fani Willis is arrogance. And it's not, we're not hating on her. We're not hating on her at all. We've been cheering her on. We've been applauding her. But this, you got to call it out. Like Monique said, call it out. If you consider her friends, if she has real friends, they need to sit her. They need to have had called her out by now. And that's the thing. So we'll see. Thursday's the hearing. It's the hearing, and this judge seems like, and yeah, she has done a stellar job up until now. And so Grizz asking, was he jealous? Did he want some shine? Well, I think again that it all came down to the ex-wife and that divorce situation that was going on, or the soon to be, or as someone that we know would say, future ex-wife. It came down to this stuff being revealed. And perhaps they didn't count on it being revealed. But again, that's ridiculous. you're going through a divorce, stuff coming out. And so there's a thought, perhaps she was working for the other side. And it wouldn't be hard to see that happening, that they approached her. They found out about this divorce. They found out first, they found out about the relationship, they found out about the divorce. Or however they found out. Once she hired him, he also, anybody in that office working on this particular case, they had to know, she had to know. She's in charge, she's the boss, she has to take the fall for it all, because they had to know that you got to pick the most unimpeachable, the most qualified, the cleanest people in your office to run this. And that's the bottom line. So it was easy for them to, okay, she hired this guy, because she hired him as a special prosecutor, which was shine the spotlight more on him, because she hired him as a special prosecutor. And so it stands to reason that they were going to look into him, and they could have found, that's when they could have found out about the divorce, and they approached the ex-wife probably with a suitcase full of money. If they knew they were dating, no one should have said it's okay. Exactly. Exactly. And Andrew Conley said, I'm grown, but if you see me stray, pull my coattail. It was reckless. They both were very reckless, and now they're paying the price for it. What's going to be lost in it all is that you have a defendant, and a bunch of defendants in this case, who committed crimes, who are probably, and I won't say possibly, I'm going to say probably, get away with it. And yes, that means the country pays the price. Yes. Yeah, for their foolishness. For their foolishness. And she's going to have to live with the consequences, and they're not going to be pretty. And they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. How about House Republicans? Now, so we know that Republicans in general, but certainly conservatives as a whole, have been pushing these anti-DE and I initiatives, this anti-affirmative action, this anti-people of color, whatever it might be. Well, now comes this. They are seeing, or at least they're now privately, and it's become public now, that they want to recruit women and minority candidates along with veterans to try and expand their slim majority in November. Representative Richard Hudson, the chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee, listed for reporters a host of candidates that he described as, quote, fitting the formula for the GOP expanding their ranks in November. They have a very slight majority in the House, as we know. One of the people they are looking at is a cancer doctor who immigrated to the U.S. from India and joined the military after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. He's running, this particular guy is running for a congressional seat in Northeast Kansas. His name is Prasant Reddy, Dr. Prasant Reddy. And then there's Allison Esposito, a gay former police detective who's running for a seat in New York. Another example is George Logan, whose parents came to the U.S. from Guatemala, and he's running for a seat in Connecticut. And then there's Kevin Lincoln, whose one parent is Black and the other is Hispanic. He's the mayor of Stockton, California. And then there is Mayra Flores, who is making another run. She made history by becoming the first Mexican-born congresswoman, but subsequently lost in the 2022 midterms. And so these are who the Republicans, the House Republicans, are going after recruiting. They trying to throw money at them or whatever. They're trying to say this. I have a Black friend too. I have a gay friend too. I have a woman friend too. That's it. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But that's what's going on. And look, the bottom line is people fall for these things and they're going to continue to fall for them. And the money's being thrown at them, the support right now is being thrown at them. They look at examples of coonery like Tim Scott and and Candace Owens, et cetera, et cetera. But Tim Scott, who is now allegedly the front runner for Trump's vice president. And speaking of, listen, speaking of these idiots, and I call them idiots because uh, you're not going to disparage. You're not going to disparage my wife, and me and you gonna be cool. You're not going to tell me my parent killed JFK, and we're gonna be cool. And I'm going to support you and all that stuff. But Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz were at Mar-a-Lago kissing the ring. It's unbelievable. Little Marco and Ted Cruz at Mar-a-Lago, literally bowing. It's how much money are y'all getting to be so emasculated, so just spit upon? He steps in dog mess and wipes his shoe on your jacket and disparages you in every way possible. Your family, your wife. And to, if I was like acquainted in any way, friend of Marco, I have no respect for him anymore. We couldn't say we're friends anymore. And look, you could actually like Trump and still feel disgust at Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. I mean, really. He is like, to them, he is the Don. But he's more than that. I mean, they will do anything. They've proven they would do anything. And I mean the most demoralizing things that you can think of if Trump requested from them. And we're not going to get graphic, but read my dirty mind about it. It's disgusting. And it's not about being anti-Trump. It's just seeing a human being taking what these guys take. There must be not 6 figures, not 7 or 8 figures on the table for these guys. It's got to be at least 9 and 10 figures, right? 9 figures at least, right? Man, how do their respective wives look at them? They're certain their wives are certainly, while they gallivanting at Mar-a-Lago, while they're out there on Capitol Hill and stuff, the wife and the pool boy is hanging out for sure. For sure. For sure. It's just just look. Oh boy. So, baby boomers are one thing, Generation X or whatever, and all these others are another thing. But Generation Z is a different breed altogether. Y'all are special in a lot of ways, very special. So if you're a manager planning to remotely lay off a younger employee, you may want to be ready for your close-up. Raised on social media, some Generation Z workers have taken to recording themselves getting fired and posting the videos on TikTok for all the world to see. The trend, it involves what appears to be authentic videos of individuals either in the process of getting fired or reacting to the experience moments after getting fired. It includes workers from fast food restaurants and office jobs to teaching. Well, some of the videos are comedic they are comedic enactments, right? Many of them have been found to be real. It elicited this thought from Jason Dorsey, who's the author of Zeconomy, and he's the president of the Center for Generational Kinetics. He says, we're seeing it across every industry. The vast majority of the time that we're seeing it is real. People are filming getting laid off. They're filming walking out. They are taking they're they're taking the snacks on the way out. They get fired and take snacks. So might as well take these chips. One recent TikTok video posted by Brittany Pesh, a San Francisco technology worker, shows the moment she got fired from her job at cybersecurity company Cloudflare. In the roughly 9-minute video, which went viral after it was posted in mid-January, she is seen looking visibly tense as she sits in front of her computer, awaiting a virtual call with an HR person and director for the company. She notes and captions in the video that quote co-workers had been getting random 15-minute call invites all day, and that her work BFF had just been fired 30 minutes earlier, leading her to expect the worst. And so she turned her camera on, set up her TikTok, and was waiting. Why do you want to broadcast your firing like that? That is incredible. It's it's what these young folks are doing now there, because they you know what, they have this attitude like this. It is what it is. We don't want to work for nobody anyway. This generation don't want to work for nobody, and I can't blame them. They want to be their own bosses. They want to set their own schedules, and there's nothing wrong with that. But filming yourself getting fired. How about filming yourself getting hired, or filming yourself starting your business? I just don't see. I'm not filming myself, and not intentionally anyway. And then sharing it. Wow. What do y'all think? I don't see anybody uh, saying much about that. We got a lot to say about everything else. Come on. What do you say about it, Angela? Power 96. David, you gonna film yourself getting fired? David's not getting, well, David is he's set. He ain't getting fired. Power 96 don't even work. He might still get fired. He's like Ice Cube in Friday. He get fired on his day off. But here she is getting fired. It's like, oh my God, why me? It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, speaking of fire, something light up the fire, light up the stove or something. I could see through the window. The snow has started and it looks heavy. David says, no, I don't want to record myself getting fired. Over the weekend, while we were watching Usher and the Chiefs beat the 49ers, and all these celebrities in their boxes, it was good. You know, it was really good that there was a lot of celebrities at the Super Bowl. They're showing like Jay-Z and his daughters, and then Beyonce over there, and Ice Spice. Somebody else I don't get, but that's another story. Ice Spice. Is she one of the Spice Girls? No, but I don't get her. But then you had all these other celebrities, and they would go around the stadium, the CBS cameras, and they would show. And why was that good? Why was that refreshing? Because that means that they didn't spend the whole game on Taylor Swift. So that was why that was good. But anyway, over the weekend, while many millions, 123.5 million people tuned into the Super Bowl, Well, while we were all doing that, weather folks were watching a trend in the forecast model signaling increasing odds for an impactful winter storm for the Northeast, including New York City. And it is happening, folks. A colder and more southern shift to the storm's track is what these forecasters saw. It caught their attention. And they were like, if you live in New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Philadelphia, y'all about to get hit. And as I see through my window, as I said, it's coming down. It's coming down. We had gone so long without any significant snow. And it's always fun watching snow come down. It's always a nice, pretty sight until it's on the ground for a little while. Then it becomes disgusting and cold. But the southern shift in the models painted the picture of a narrow axis of heavier snow inching closer and closer to the I-95 corridor. So if you live anywhere along that I-95 corridor from New England through even up to Maryland, expect some serious stuff. They say they call it a nor'easter, which I used to know why they called it because it was in the north, in the northeast. But it's got to be more to it, right? But even greater concern was the timing during rush hour, and that's exactly. It's rare. It's so rare that they get it right, and then it's even more rare when they are able to pinpoint it, the time and everything else, because it is certainly rush hour and it is coming down. The potential for snowfall rates of 2 inches per hour combined with the prime commute time has folks worried about the travel delays, accidents, and also you go to the airport if you're flying out of Philadelphia, Newark, New Jersey, or New York or Boston, you're going to have some issues. You're going to have some issues. And so as of last night, 50 million people were already under winter alerts. And that alert stretched from parts of the Central Plains and Midwest into, of course, the Northeast and New England. New York is, like I said earlier, they closed the schools. They announced yesterday there would be no school today in New York. And they're expecting like 8 inches of snow up in New York City. Whereas in Philadelphia, it could be even more, 2 to 3 inches per hour is what they're forecasting in the Philadelphia area and New Jersey as well. And then strong winds. So so I keep going back to New York because what they're forecasting and what they have forecast is what they call thunder snow, where you might have winds that as strong as 35 miles per hour, which means that there will be no visibility at all. So stay off the road. If you're in New York, you have adequate public transportation if necessary. But the good news is that this is supposed to be a fast-moving storm. And so by 5 p.m. tomorrow, the remnants will only be there and it shouldn't be too damaging after that. So there you have it. This the bad weather here throughout the Northeast. And navigating is going to be something else. It's going to be. I'm glad I'm not. I hate driving anyway, so I'm not driving in this. So there's something called Uber and Lyft, and there's a new thing called Revel, Revel. I noticed that when I was at the airport the other day, it said the rideshare, Uber, Lyft, and Revel. I never heard of Revel. We got to figure out who Revel is. We'll see. We'll find out. But folks, be careful out there. It's really coming down in the Northeast. Out in New Orleans, where it's Mardi Gras time, Power 96 reports that it's 60 degrees there, or will be 60 degrees there. So maybe we should go get some catfish. But that's the latest, folks. We enjoy talking with you every morning, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning.